Hello everyone and welcome back. So today is the third video in a series of, I don't know how many I'm going to do, regarding meditation. So we leaned into the truths and myths about meditation, and the next video was how to re-regulate ourselves. So this video, we're going into the exploration phase of everything. So for a quick recap, we discovered that meditation and all of its greatness also brings up the past. When we are in a place of comfort and relaxation, we say that answers come or clarity comes, when our mind and body are relaxed. And meditation creates that space of relaxation, but in that space, it also creates a safety zone, right? A safety zone for things to come up, for information to come up. And sometimes that information is not what you're looking for, but is actually things from the past that are ready to be looked at, to be acknowledged, and to be healed and released. And in the second video, we talked about re-regulating ourselves, leaning into the actual physiology of your body and not the identifiers in your mind, right? Society, sorry, my throat. Society has gotten very good or very bad, depending on how you want to look at it, at throwing out these catchphrases in terms of diagnoses, which are beneficial if they are true medical, done by medical professionals and psychiatrists, right? But we have a tendency to just throw these things out. And that can make the situation worse. So if you lean into the actual physiology of your body, when a repressed memory comes up or a trauma from your past, instead of going into the mind, lean into the body. So we went over that. Is your body hot, cold? Is it shaking? Is it tired? Is it relaxed? And that will help you bring you to the truth. And then we lean into re-regulating ourselves by coming yet again back to the breath. So today we're going on a journey of exploration. I do have notes, and I'm going to make sure I read the notes. And so I have the notes because this is the work behind the work. The yoga, the meditation, the tarot cards, that is the surface work, and that's where most of us are at. This is the work behind, this is the work behind the work. This is where you get to the nitty-gritty. We're all here for a purpose. And back in the 80s, especially 80s and 90s, the big question was, and what is my life purpose? What am I here for? And ultimately, your purpose is to discover who you are. And to do that, we have to discover who we're not, including releasing the labels and expectations that have been put upon us by our families and society. So we're going to start to explore a little deeper what these things are, why they come up. And generally, when these old memories come up, we have a tendency, just as humans, and I've done this myself, to place blame elsewhere. Like, why is this happening to me? Why did this person do this to me? Why does my job not understand me? Or why can't I get ahead? All these things, right? Why is this happening? So I invite you to change the question and ask yourself, instead of saying, why is this happening? Because you usually say, why is this happening to me? Because it feels very personal. And the human side, it is personal. On the soul side, it is not. So instead of asking ourselves, why is this happening to me? The question is, what is this trying to show me? And what is this trying to teach me? Because there's a lesson in all of it. So when we re-regulate our bodies by leaning into the physiology instead of the mental capacity, it changes. We can then re-regulate ourselves. And the same thing here. If we take the question in a different direction and we seek learning instead of blame, it changes the dynamic. It empowers us to find the answers, to let go of the emotional attachment, and to go more towards the absolute truth of the situation. Not easy, not by any stretch, but it's absolutely worth it. And it's one step at a time. So what do we do here, right? So we reframe our question. And I'm just making sure I scroll. I want to make sure I don't miss anything. Again, this is the work behind the work. This is what the initial work is leading us to. So what is this trying to teach me? What is this showing me? What is it that I need to know? And a lot of this is going to come back to your soul contracts. And that will be a separate video that I do about soul contracts. But we all have contracts for each incarnation that we have. And it's about the lessons that we're meant to learn, that we choose to learn, and to take us into our next incarnation. Now, I will just briefly say the concept or aspect of heaven, it is only in one realm of reality. There are 13 realms in the universe. The aspect or element of heaven does exist, but that's not the whole thing. There are 7 levels to the element of heaven, and that is in the 6th and 7th atmospheric level. But that's another video, just for purposes of this, or the universes, I should say. There's 13 total universes. The aspect of heaven, where we have our angels and all of that stuff that is in the religious text. That's a small part. There are 7 levels to that, and that's in the 6th and 7th universe. So, and if you have questions about that, put them in the comments, because if you don't want to know about this stuff, then I won't waste your time making the videos, right? But anyway, so that's a little bit about soul contracts. So, and we're all here to receive the lesson. So when the soul is ready, the lesson appears. It's kind of like, we know when the student is ready, the teacher appears. So the lesson appears when the soul is ready. So when these things come up and we ask ourselves the question, what is this trying to show me? It's first asking us to not resist, or to let go of the need to resist or control or to blame, and to surrender to the situation and say, okay, what am I not getting here? What do I need to change about the way I'm looking at this? And look, when these repressed memories and traumas, or things that we haven't dealt with, that we pushed down on ourselves, when they start to make their way up, our mind gets anxious. We get frustrated, we get angry, we get tired. And sometimes we don't want to deal with it right away. And that's fine. Give yourself a break in between. However, the more you push this off, the stronger it's going to get. And if you don't deal with it, whatever it is, and I will give you a little hint, everything is relational. Whether it is your home, your family, your job, your friends, your loves, everything is, and yourself, everything is relationship, right? It's all relational. Now, if you find yourself getting fatigued and tired, take a moment and take a break. Take a couple of days away from it. Gain some clarity, re-regulate yourself, and then come back to it. But again, the more we try to get clarity, the more things that are going to come up. Clarity doesn't come, and we know this, because it came up, things come up in meditation. Clarity doesn't come in chaos, it comes in calmness. it comes in a place where we are at ease and relaxed. So you may have lost your trust in meditation if things are starting to make their way to the surface. But trust that there is something bigger at work here for you, right? So this is all of this is meant to bring you back into alignment. Now, it doesn't mean you're completely off track. It could mean that the direction you're going is not the best direction for you at this time, or it is not aligned with an agreement that you had in this life. And if a relationship ends, maybe that relationship isn't meant to carry you all the way. Maybe it was meant to bring you to a certain point. Or maybe you were meant to bring that person to a certain point. Because we're all teachers and we're all students, right? So, but all this stuff is meant to bring you back into alignment, like with who you are. And one question you can ask yourself, and you can journal this question if you want, is who am I? But who are you beyond your gender, beyond your name, beyond your role in your family, beyond your job title, beyond the color of your skin, beyond your physical structure? When you peel away all of that stuff, because these are all identifiers in the human form, when you peel that away, what's left is your essence or your energy or your soul. That's where we're getting to. The clues to that lie in usually your childhood. And the lawn people are here again. It doesn't matter when I come on. The lawn people always show up when I want to record. The clues to that show up in your childhood. Why? Because when we are children, we're little ones, we don't have the ability to filter things out. We just have the ability to be receptive, to receive, to accept. I'm going to show you my tarot cards for today. Now, today is August 5th. And I'm not quite sure when this is going to land online. But today is August 5th. I pulled my cards to see what my guidance was for today. Six of Cups, right? So this is reminiscing about the past, right? Going back to the childhood. Then it was the Two of Swords. What is it that I'm not willing to look at? Or what is it that I am no longer allowing to keep me from seeing myself and my future? Because then the Six of Wands is, there is victory ahead of me. There is, spotlighting my ability to do whatever it is that I'm doing in this earth. And not allowing things from the past to hold me back or to take me off course. That's just a little mini thing that I pulled for myself this morning. And so then there's some journaling around this and everything else. And again, this is the tool, right? This is the tool. This is to take me to the lesson behind the lesson. But this is something that I do on a regular basis. And once you get used to doing something like this, when you let it become second nature, then maybe we have less fear about things that show up from our past, right? So again, this is all meant to bring us back into alignment. So the very place, though, where you're resisting, if you say, I don't want to look at this, I don't want to remember this, this is done, it's in the past. The action is in the past. The memory has come back. And that memory can be just as strong as when you first went through the actual event. The place where you have resistance is the place that your healing begins. Your true healing. Not pushing it aside, not blaming. And that's a whole nother video. We'll get into that, or I'll get into that if you're interested. But the place where you resist, if you don't want to hear someone's truth, or maybe someone's lie, right? If you're not willing to listen, if you're not willing to take steps, if you go to therapy and they're giving you, steps to do, or journaling prompts, or whatever it is that they do in therapy these days, and you go home and you don't do it, you're actually making a choice not to heal. It may feel like you're not, because you could say, oh, I don't feel like it or whatever, but you're actually making the choice not to heal, not to explore that element that's bringing you to this place of stress, tension, anxiousness. But we all have choices, right? And that's part of our existence is choosing. So, and it's not easy. So wherever you're leaning into resistance, whatever it is you don't want to see is probably the one thing that you should be looking at, or that is going to help you to heal and help you to navigate through this painful situation or this painful memory. And yeah, it gets messy before it gets better. If you ever cleaned out your closet, more times than not, everything comes out. You purge everything out, and then there's a whole big mess in the room. And then you slowly start to pack things back in a new way. So it's going to get messy. You're probably going to cry. You're probably going to get mad. You'll probably be hating me, saying, I don't want to do this, Deb. Like, this is stupid. That's fine. You don't have to. But if you want the life that you claim that you want, you have to get a little uncomfortable to remove the things that are not authentically yours. And society will put upon us expectations that are not ours to meet. Right? And that's just kind of how it goes. That's not how it should be. This is society as it is today. And we see that there is a big, especially with Pluto and Aquarius, there is what appears to be an upheaval. Right? What was put into place, where we were told as people that these are foundational things, this is a really good structure to follow. We're realizing 250 years later, at least for the United States, that it was never meant to be a safe structure. It was only meant to be a form of control. So all this rebellion is happening now because people are saying, no, we cannot be controlled. We are free souls. We get to make free choices. And we are no longer going with this. So but that's a whole big situation. That's just a little thing that, yeah, look into that. If you like the structure and confines of what has been in place, but if you're not happy and you want something different, then you have to take the steps. Aquarius, we're still in the age of Aquarius. Aquarius is rebellion, right? And it is not rebellion in a bad way. It is rebelling against the things that are not right. Against the things that keep us small. Against the things that keep us from being who we are meant to be. So it's going to get messy, right? So yeah, just hang on. But you got this. You got this. Any relationship, whether it's a job or a friend. I've had a couple friends that, we just had to part ways because the relationship was it was either one-sided or there was just nothing left, and we were just meant to go to a certain place, a certain phase of life, and then part ways. But if one person wants to end a relationship, or if your job is deciding that they're cutting your position or you're being terminated for some reason, that's an opportunity. That's an opportunity to say, okay, where am I going next? What do I get to discover about myself? What path of exploration is available to me? And there's that idea of being grateful for the experience and having the time with this person or these people or this job, and for what it's taught you about life and about yourself, and then moving forward to the next thing. That's hard, and I get that. Because our mind wants to control. Our soul wants freedom. The two just don't go together. You cannot have controlled freedom. You're free or you're controlled. So if that is resonating for you, then go ahead and take a look at that. Write that down. You don't have to agree with me. Right? You have to write down and see what what is resonating for you. So, but the hard part is to let go. The hard part is to trust. The hard part is to realize that there is life beyond this, and to take the good parts from this into the next phase of awareness. And you sometimes we forget that we get to choose what that is. And if you don't know what it is, then you don't do anything for a while. Maybe it's a resting phase for you to sit down, to breathe, and just not to do anything for a little while. And when the time is right, the path will start to reveal itself. They say as you walk the path will open. And so as you take one step, then the next step will reveal itself. But if you don't know where you're going, and maybe you don't have to go anywhere. Maybe you don't have to do anything. And maybe that's one of the things to let go of, is the expectation that there has to be something next in line and immediate. Maybe give yourself space. Exploration doesn't always come when we are constantly busy. Sometimes it comes when we're giving ourselves space. And then opportunities will present themselves. Again, clarity comes from quietness, not chaos, right? So, and it's, new beginnings are hard. Surrendering is hard. But if we learn to trust the process of new beginnings, and we start over all the time. We really do. We start, from kindergarten to first grade at elementary school, and then you start over in middle school, and then you start over in high school, and then you start over in college if you go to college. Then you start over in the working world, and then from one job to the next, and from being single to being in a relationship to being in a marriage to being a parent, if that's your journey. So we're always starting new. There's always opportunities to start new. It's when we resist these unplanned new beginnings, right? That's when the tension starts to come in. But when it's a planned new beginning, it's a little easier. But maybe you should start to trust the process of new beginnings, right? But how, right? Because we're probably losing a little faith and trust in meditation because, oh yes, everyone told me, start a meditation practice. And what happens? My past, my pain, my breakups, my trauma, my losses, whatever, the things I have worked so hard to push down came flying out. Yeah. And again, it came out flying in a mess. And then you lost control of your emotions. And you forgot what you were trying to accomplish because you're really trying to find out how to get this new job. And all of a sudden, a breakup came up. So, yeah. But this is the thing that needs to be healed. It's in the healing that the right things make their way into our awareness. So, what do we do? What do we do? Let's find it. Oh, well, that didn't work, did it? Okay, I can't find it now. Journal. I was trying to pull out my journal. I don't know where it went. Anyway, sorry about that. Journal. Writing things down. If you want to write down, like the question I asked you, like, who are you? Who are you? And you're going to write out whatever it is you're going to write out. Give yourself some time. And eventually, all the things that society told you who you are will start to fade, and the work beneath the work, right? The work was starting out, writing out who you are according to societal standards. The work underneath of that is the stuff that comes after you purge that stuff out. And then you go, oh, I wish I could find my journal because I had a really good journaling prompt today in a class. No, wait, here it is. Find my journal. And one of the questions was, and it was with Kathy Heller, if you follow her, and she gives journaling prompts along with meditation, and one of the questions was, let me see, what is no longer a match for who I'm becoming? So if your past starts to make its way and it's traumatic and it's heartbreaking, yeah, right? Accept that and embrace that and acknowledge that. Then go into that, where that heartbreak or that stress or that trauma and write that out. And then what is the opposite of that? As you start to heal, you start to move away from these things. And there's a really good saying that says, you've done a lot of work healing, or you've done so much work healing that now you should be careful of who you allow into your space. Right? Because you don't want the same type of energy to come back. And if someone comes into your life and they start to show signs of a past relationship, and it could be a friendship, a job, again, it could be any of those things, then that's a sign that, oh, I'm sorry, like I've grown past this. Thank you very much. It's so nice to meet you. This is just not the right relationship for me. And that's it. You don't owe this whole big explanation, like, oh, you're just like my former partner. No. Just acknowledge that this is not the right situation for you, and that's it. You shouldn't be dumping on them either. And just say, it's so nice to know you. It's so nice to meet you. And they could be wonderful people. They could be wonderful people. It could be a great job. But if there is something about that resonates back to a job that treated you bad or a relationship that turned out bad, you're going to see it. The thing is, where you make the choice to step away, that's where journaling comes in. Journal that stuff out. Writing as well gives you clarity, because it kind of dumps the junk in your brain. It dumps all the things that we keep playing on the loop in our mind, right? And once you start to pull that stuff out of your brain, or out of your mind, not your brain, they're two different things. And once you start to pull the energy out of your body, then again, clarity comes in. And this time, it's clarity of what is no longer a match for who I'm becoming. You can even write down who am I becoming. You can write down who do I want to be. But the more broader, more aligned question is, who am I becoming? And you could say, I don't know, but I am becoming someone who trusts their intuition. I am becoming someone who takes their time before rushing into a new situation. I am becoming someone who really gets to know a company or a person or whatever before I fully lean into this. Another question that was asked today: what am I afraid will happen if I fully trust myself? And they're the only questions I'm going to give you. There was like 5 questions. What am I afraid will happen? Sorry. If I fully trust myself. That's a big question. Because if you're fully trusting yourself, that means you're starting to get to know who you are. In a place of knowing, not in a place of in your mind, but in a place of in your in the soul of who you are, in your energetic field. So what are you afraid of if you fully embrace yourself? Are you afraid of rejection? Are you afraid of judgment? Or are you afraid of ridicule? And if they are the things, go back to those. In the next video, we're going to break these down even further. There'll be a video 4. I don't know how many I'm going to do. But if you don't want these videos, just please let me know, and I'll just, I won't waste your time with it. But if you want them, if you're getting something, then yeah, let me know that as well. So what are you afraid will happen if you fully trust yourself? If you fully lean in to this? This is the healing beneath the healing. The work beneath the work. This is now the next layer down. Or the next layer up, right? Depending on how you want to look at it. But if we look at it as, they say, like the analogy of the onion peeling away the layers, we're starting to get, like we got like the skin layer off, like the crinkly skin, and then we got like the filmy skin off, and we're starting to pull away the flesh and the meat, and we're starting to get into the deeper layers of the onion, the layers you don't see until you pull the stuff away. So this exploration is exploring beyond the surface, beyond the crunch, beyond the noise, into the place where things kind of get a little tight, right? The more you peel into the onion, right, the tighter the skin is, the tighter the vegetable is, right? So I will leave you with this. What are you afraid will happen if you fully trust yourself? And lean into that. That's where you lean into. And write those words down. And the thing is, be honest with yourself. If you can't be honest with yourself, then the world is not going to be honest with you. Right? No. And you have this though. If you're watching this video for a reason. Right? You're here for a reason. You're here because something inside of you knows that there is more. Know that there's more steps. Something inside of you knows that there is so much value in you that needs to be pulled out. But we got to pull away these layers, and something inside of you knows that this is true for you. Or you wouldn't be wasting your time, right? You'd be doing something else. You'd find something else to do with your time. And if something inside of you is calling you, but you really don't, like your mind doesn't believe, like inside of you believes, but your mind doesn't. So seeing is not believing. Believing is seeing. Once you start to believe, then things will start to reveal themselves. Yeah. It's a little backwards, right? In our mental human brain, it's like, no, I want to see it first to believe it. Like, show me the money kind of thing, right? But this is a spiritual element. It is not of this physical world. It is a much deeper element. If you're going to the 11th, 12th, and 13th universes out there, this is beyond that of the heaven space. So it's believing is seeing. It's that mindset, shifting your mindset, manifesting something or creating something means aligning your energy with it, believing that it's possible for you, and then it will make its way because you're dissolving the barriers that kept it from you to begin with. So believing is seeing, but keep going. Like, you got this. You're watching this for a reason. Believe in yourself because I believe in you. And this is so much fun for me. It is talking about all this stuff, giving you a couple of journal prompts, but these are from Kathy Heller, so I kind of pirated them, but she probably won't care. Questions, comments. I'm going to continue this. I have at least 2 more videos to do in this series. If you want more, let me know. And if you don't want them, let me know as well. I don't want to take any more of your time than is necessary, but if you're watching this, there is something in you that believes. So, believe and it will be revealed. Take care, everyone. I'll see you next time.